The first signal arrived on a quiet morning over the Pacific Ocean. At exactly 0917 Universal Time, satellites across Earth detected a strange pulse coming from deep space. It was steady, clear, and unlike anything seen before. For a moment, scientists thought it might be a glitch. Then the signal repeated, this time carrying patterns too perfect to be random. Within minutes, observatories from Hawaii to Chile, from South Africa to Japan, confirmed the same thing. A transmission of unknown origin, aimed directly at Earth. The world reacted with awe and nervous excitement. Social feeds filled with short clips of the strange sound. News channels cut into their usual programs, their banners flashing. Contact from beyond confirmed. In Geneva, the United Nations Security Assembly called an emergency session. Diplomats hurried through the halls, their faces pale but curious. For centuries, people had wondered if intelligent life existed elsewhere. Now there was no more guessing. Someone out there had spoken. By the afternoon, a translation team working with quantum linguistics produced a first rough draft of the message. The words were simple, almost cold. People of Earth, we are the Galactic Council, guardians of order in this region of space. Your world has reached a level of development that requires supervision. Deliver full surrender of planetary governance and resources. Compliance will ensure your safety and limited autonomy. Resistance is discouraged. You have 20 of your solar cycles to respond. The hall went silent. Representatives stared at the screen where the message glowed in soft blue letters. Outside, the world was equally still. Families gathered around screens. Students watched from classrooms. Pilots in the air turned up their radios. Humanity had dreamed of meeting other minds among the stars. Few had imagined the first words would be a demand to give up freedom. In Washington, the President of the United States convened a meeting of advisors. In Beijing, the State Council gathered under heavy security. Across Europe, Africa, and South America, leaders opened secure channels to talk through options. For the first time in history, every major power faced the same puzzle at the same time. The ultimatum was clear, but its meaning raised endless questions. Who were these beings? How strong were they? Did they truly mean harm? Or were they following rules that seemed harsh only by human standards? The public response was mixed. Some people panicked, fearing fleets of warships about to appear in the sky. Others felt wonder. Perhaps this council could teach humanity to heal its divisions and explore safely. There were even small groups who wanted to accept at once, thinking it might bring peace and technology. But most citizens hesitated. Surrender, even to mighty visitors, was a heavy word. Late that night, a special gathering took place under heavy security in a quiet valley in Switzerland. It was not the United Nations alone. Military leaders, scientists, philosophers, and engineers arrived by unmarked aircraft. They called themselves the Terran Defense Accord, a temporary alliance meant to study the Council's demand and craft a global reply. Dr. Lian Zhou, a calm woman with sharp eyes, began the briefing. Colleagues, she said, pointing to a holographic map. The transmission was sent from approximately 2 light days away. The source is holding position beyond the orbit of Neptune. We do not see any physical ships yet, but their signal strength suggests technology far beyond ours. A general raised a hand. Can we block them? Jam the channel? Lian shook her head. Not safely. Their signal is woven into quantum fields. Any attempt to disrupt might be read as aggression. At the end of the table, Captain Mara Vance listened quietly. She was one of Earth's most experienced astronauts, a veteran of long missions on Mars and the outer stations. She spoke little, but her presence steadied the room. What do they expect from us? Asked the president of an African Union member state. Immediate surrender, replied Lian. But we suspect they don't fully understand our society. Their message treats us as a single hive. They assume obedience is natural. The delegates shared a look. Humanity was many things, creative, stubborn, often divided, but rarely quick to kneel. While officials debated, ordinary people searched for answers in their own ways. In Nairobi, a teacher reassured children that Earth had solved great challenges before and could do so again. In São Paulo, musicians gathered in a square, playing hopeful songs to calm their neighbors. In Mumbai, scientists hosted a public stream, explaining the math behind the signal to curious viewers. Even amid unease, the world's imagination bloomed. Artists sketched visions of the council. Storytellers wrote tales of cautious meetings among stars. Some proposed that the ultimatum might be a test. a way to see if Earth had the wisdom to answer with calm instead of fear. The next morning, the Council sent another short message. Reminder, your time to respond decreases. Compliance ensures protection. Delay invites correction. The note was polite in form yet heavy in meaning. On social networks, citizens began to post a phrase, 20 days to answer. That same day, deep beneath the mountains of Norway, a hidden research hub came alive. Engineers tested quiet engines once thought too risky for use. Mathematicians mapped the structure of the Council's code. Linguists searched for small hints of personality inside the plain words. Captain Vance toured the facility, taking careful notes. She noticed something curious. The Council's voice lacked warmth or anger. It was neither friend nor foe, only a flat messenger. They don't know who we really are, she said softly to Lianzhou. They see numbers, resources, maybe threat levels, but they don't see how people think. 3 days into the countdown, Earth's governments agreed on a joint reply team. It included diplomats from every region, guided by scientists and cultural historians. Their job was to craft an answer that showed clarity and resolve without starting conflict. The team worked in a circular room lined with screens showing calm ocean scenes. Chosen to keep focus steady, they argued about wording for hours. Should they ask for talks? Demand proof of goodwill? Offer cautious friendship? When the debate grew too heavy, Captain Vance spoke. Her voice was quiet but firm. Before we send words, she said, we should decide what we truly believe. Do we think we are meant to live by another's permission? Or do we stand on our own path, willing to learn but not to bow? Her words settled over the group. Slowly, they began shaping a statement built on calm dignity. Meanwhile, astronomers kept their eyes on the dark beyond Neptune. One night, they detected faint shapes moving near the signal source, slender outlines reflecting starlight. The news spread quickly through secret channels, vessels of unknown size waiting. Instead of panic, the Terran Defense Accord grew more focused. They expanded their task forces, pulling data from deep space probes, gathering old experiments on propulsion and shielding. Not once did they speak of giving up. The more they learned, the steadier their gaze became. A mood began to settle across Earth. It was not loud defiance, not reckless courage, but a quiet steadiness. People spoke in gentle tones, shared plans, and held each other close. Across cities and villages, humanity seemed to breathe as one. On the 18th day, with just 2 left, the Council sent a third notice. Final interval approaching. Your decision shapes your future. Cooperation is advised. By then, the Accord had finished its draft message. The statement was short. To the Galactic Council, we acknowledge receipt of your communications. Humanity values dialogue and mutual respect. We request a meeting at Earth's orbital boundary to discuss terms of cooperation as equals. Until then, we remain the free stewards of our world. The team read it aloud in many languages. It felt simple, steady, and clear. Captain Vance suggested one more touch. She looked around the room, her expression calm, then smiled, not in mockery but in quiet confidence. Send it, she said. When the message reached the transmitters, engineers encoded it with flawless precision. The signal left Earth, climbing through atmosphere and into the wide black sky. On screens, a small line showed its progress outward toward the waiting council. That night, across the planet, people gathered under open skies. Some stood on rooftops, others in fields or along riverbanks. Children traced constellations while parents told stories of explorers and pioneers. Everywhere, the same question hung in the air. What would come next? In a remote valley, Captain Vance walked outside the Accord's facility. Stars gleamed above like scattered silver dust. She thought of all the generations that had looked up, wondering if someone might look back. Now they had, and they had demanded Earth's surrender. Yet as Vance watched the horizon lighten with dawn, she felt no despair. She sensed instead a quiet power moving through people everywhere, the strength to stay calm, to think, to choose with care. Whatever answer the Council returned, humanity had already made one choice, not to be ruled by fear. And so, as the 20th sunrise approached, Earth waited, calm, watchful, and wearing a small, unshaken smile. The dawn after Earth's reply carried a strange calm. Around the world, people waited for a response from the stars. News anchors spoke in soft voices, sharing updates about the countdown clock now frozen on message sent. Children asked their teachers if the aliens were kind or stern. Farmers in quiet valleys went on with planting but kept small radios nearby, hoping for news. Far beyond the moon, the Galactic Council's relay received the transmission from Earth. Inside a chamber made of crystal and light, representatives of many species gathered around a wide table. Their forms were diverse, some tall and thin, some shaped like flowing mist, others with shells that glowed faintly. They read Earth's message with interest. "Free stewards," murmured a silver-scaled being, adjusting the shimmer of its fins. "They speak as if they already belong among us." A creature with long, flexible arms spoke next. "The humans show calm. That is unusual for new worlds." An elder of the council, whose eyes were deep pools of green, tilted its head. Calm may hide pride, or wisdom. They sent no answer yet. The council preferred to watch, to measure patience. On Earth, the Terran Defense Accord continued its work inside the mountain facility. The hallways hummed with quiet energy. Screens displayed maps of the solar system, diagrams of alien symbols, and models of starships based on the faint outlines recorded near Neptune. Dr. Leon Zhou stood at a console, tracing lines across a holographic map. "These formations," she said, "suggest observation posts. Not weapons yet, but scouts." Captain Mara Vance joined her. "They want to see how we behave," she said. Leon nodded. "Yes, they expect hesitation. They think we will argue until their patience runs out." Mara smiled slightly. "Then we'll surprise them." Behind them, engineers worked on equipment rarely mentioned in public. They tested small drive units able to move silently in the dark between planets. Others refined quantum codes that could hide messages inside natural radio noise. These projects had begun years before, under programs meant to explore far space. Now they had a new purpose: to give Earth choices. In a bright room filled with screens, a group of young analysts studied the council's voice. They slowed recording, searching for subtle rhythms. One analyst, a quiet student from Chile named Amira, noticed something interesting. "When they speak," she said, "their tones shift every few phrases. It's like they are reading from an old rulebook, not talking from the heart." Her supervisor looked intrigued. "So they may not be united?" Amira shrugged. "Maybe some agree with us and some don't." This thought gave the team a new goal: to learn more about the council itself, not just its orders. Around the world, leaders kept meeting through secure links. They shared progress in polite tones, aware the council might be listening. Several nations opened their best laboratories to support the accord. A quiet but strong cooperation spread, unlike anything Earth had seen before. Even ordinary people helped in small ways. Amateur astronomers tracked faint objects near the edge of the solar system, sending reports to observatories. Artists painted banners showing Earth's blue globe surrounded by hopeful stars. Farmers offered fields for testing antenna designs. Humanity, often divided, found unity in the wish to face the unknown with dignity. On the 5th day after sending the reply, astronomers at a Hawaiian observatory noticed a bright speck moving closer to the inner planets. They checked carefully and confirmed it was not an asteroid. Its motion was smooth and steady, too precise for rock or ice. News of the discovery reached the mountain base within an hour. Captain Vance and Dr. Zhou stood in front of a large display as the object's track appeared. "It's heading toward Jupiter," Leon said. "If it keeps that course, it will pass the planet in 6 days. Mara studied the data. That is their answer. They're coming closer, but not too close yet. They want to watch us at mid-distance." The Accord decided to treat the approach as an opportunity. They planned to send a coded greeting from one of Earth's outer satellites. But they also began to prepare something new: a quiet fleet of small craft, hidden from casual scans, able to meet any visitors with calm observation. In a separate wing of the base, a team worked on something they called Project Lantern. The name came from an old saying about a single light guiding travelers through night. The idea was simple but daring: build a craft able to leave Earth orbit quietly, meet the incoming vessel halfway, and send back live information. The ship would not carry weapons, only sensors and a strong communication array. But its engines were a secret blend of ion and magnetic fields, giving it speed without a bright signature. Mara Vance volunteered to oversee the mission. She visited the hangar, where technicians shaped smooth panels of silver-white metal. "It's like building hope," she said softly, touching the hull. While preparations advanced, humanity's public face remained calm. Television presenters explained space science in friendly terms. Musicians released gentle songs about the wide sky. Writers penned stories about peaceful meetings between different worlds. Yet behind the smile, thought grew serious. Engineers tested shields for satellites just in case stray signals interfered with electronics. Farmers checked reserves. Students learned how to track stars with naked eyes. It was not fear, but readiness, a steady knowledge that peace often stays strong when it stands on steady ground. 7 days after Earth's message, the approaching object slowed near Jupiter. Telescopes caught a clearer shape, a long oval with faint blue lights along its sides. Its surface seemed smooth, like polished stone, yet it moved with clear intention. Inside the mountain, a quiet tension filled the air. "They're showing themselves," Dr. Zhou said. Captain Vance leaned closer to the display. "It's a scout ship," she guessed. "Probably here to test how we respond to their presence." The council craft sent a short signal, neutral in tone. "Earth origin confirmed. Awaiting your representative." The message stirred debate among the Accord members. Should they answer with words only, or meet the visitors directly? After discussion, they agreed on a 2-step plan. Reply with a polite note and continue preparing Project Lantern for a closer look. Meanwhile, small groups across the planet began quiet studies of the Council's culture. Anthropologists examined the patterns in their language, searching for signs of values or habits. Historians compared Earth's own history of first contacts between islands, nations, and cultures to guess how mutual respect might grow across stars. One scholar from Kenya noted, "When two groups meet, the one who listens well often finds a bridge." These lessons guided the Accord's next message. Council members, Earth acknowledges your signal. We prepare a representative for dialogue at a safe distance. We look forward to understanding one another. The note traveled outward, crossing millions of kilometers to reach the waiting scout. As days passed, the Lantern ship neared completion. Its cabin was small, just enough for a pilot and 2 assistants. Displays lined the walls, glowing with calm colors. Engineers polished every detail, from guidance software to the quiet hum of life support systems. Mara Vance trained with her team, practicing soft maneuvers in simulators. She reminded them often, "We're not here to impress or challenge. We're here to learn and show that Earth keeps its word." Outside, the world watched with mixed feelings. Some hoped for open friendship. Others worried about unknown intentions. But most felt pride that Earth was meeting the moment with steady preparation, rather than rushing or retreating. Late one evening, as the Lantern team ran final checks, Amira from the language group arrived with new insights. "The council words carry layers," she explained. "There's a baseline of command, but hidden inside are gentle curves like questions. Maybe they are not only giving orders, they're testing if we can see more than the surface." Mara considered this. "So they're asking if we can read their tone, not just their text." "That's how it seems," Amira said. The finding added a hopeful note. Perhaps the ultimatum was not pure threat, but part of an evaluation. By the 10th day, Lantern stood ready on a launch pad hidden deep underground. Its silver hull reflected the soft glow of work lights. Scientists gathered to watch the final briefing. Captain Vance addressed them. "This mission is simple. We go out, meet their scout, and come back with knowledge. We show the Council that Earth can meet new challenges with calm and skill." Her words were steady, but her eyes carried quiet fire, the same calm strength that had marked Earth's reply days before. The countdown began. Engines hummed gently as technicians sealed the airlock. The craft rose on a silent lift toward a tunnel that opened to the night sky. Outside, stars glittered over a peaceful valley. Somewhere beyond Jupiter, an alien vessel waited. At the same moment, in the council chamber, debate continued. Some delegates pressed for a swift move to establish control. Others urged patience, impressed by Earth's steady tone. The elder with green eyes spoke again. "A species that keeps balance under trial may one day hold balance among us. Let us see if their actions match their words." With that, the Council sent a new message to Earth. "We note your preparation. Meet us beyond the orbit of your red planet. We will observe." Back on Earth, the signal arrived as Lantern's engines warmed. The message was shared across the base. Lenju smiled. "They want a meeting point," she said. Mara looked at her crew. Then we'll meet them, steady and clear. As the ship lifted gently into the night, the lantern ship glided through the darkness beyond Mars, its silver hull catching soft light from the distant sun. Inside, Captain Mara Vance sat at the main console, her hands steady on smooth controls. To her right, flight engineer Ravi Patel adjusted a display showing long curves of orbits. Beside him, language analyst Amira listened through an earpiece, tracing the tones of faint signals from ahead. They had been traveling for 2 days, riding a quiet stream of gravity between planets. Behind them, Earth was a small marble. Ahead, past the red glow of Mars, lay the broad kingdom of Jupiter, and beyond it, a visitor from another star. A soft chime filled the cabin. "Contact in 6 hours," Ravi reported, voice calm but alive with curiosity. "The object is holding a steady course. No sudden moves," Mara nodded. "Keep our speed even. We want to look confident, not nervous." Amira smiled faintly. "I think they notice small things, like tone or rhythm. Maybe they also see how a ship moves." Outside the viewport, the stars shone sharp and clear. The crew felt the quiet weight of history, humanity's first approach to an unknown ship. At the mountain base on Earth, teams watched Lantern's progress. Dr. Leon Joe stood with scientists and diplomats in a room lined with glowing maps. The ship's path stretched across a wall, a silver thread reaching toward a blue point marked Council Scout. "They're almost there," Leon said, voice low. "Everything depends on these next hours." A diplomat from South America folded his hands. "Even if they are much older than we are, we have shown patience. That is strength." News of the meeting had been kept private, but whispers had spread. Around the world, people felt a subtle excitement. It was as if every heart listened to the same quiet drum, waiting for a note from space. 6 hours later, Lantern slowed to match the Council Scout's speed. The alien craft floated against the backdrop of star, a long oval, its surface smooth as river stone. Faint blue lights ran along its sides, pulsing in a gentle rhythm. "Magnify," Mara ordered. The screen showed details. Thin seams along the hull, small openings that might be sensors. No weapons, at least none they could see. A clear signal reached Lantern's antenna. "Earth vessel, identity confirmed. Maintain calm trajectory. We will extend communication field." The voice was soft, almost like a breeze through glass. Amira leaned forward, adjusting filters. "Their tone is respectful," she said with surprise. Ravi grinned. Maybe our cold smile worked. Mara kept her focus. "Let's answer." She pressed a key, speaking steadily. "Council vessel, this is Captain Mara Vance of Earthship Lantern. We come for dialogue in peace and clarity." Light flickered along the alien hull, as if considering the words. A moment later, a broad sheet of pale mist unfolded from the Scout, forming a glowing space between the two craft. Tiny points of color danced within, shaping a quiet wave. "They've made a bridge," Amira guessed. "A field for shared thought." Mara looked at her crew. "Ready?" Together they placed their hands on small circles in front of their seats. Lantern system translated their voices into tones that merged with the field. A clear image appeared inside the cabin. A round chamber of light, with soft walls like flowing water. Shapes formed inside, members of the council, their forms gentle but distinct. One looked like a tall ribbon of silver mist, another like a smooth tree bending toward a stream. "Representatives of Earth," said a calm voice. "We meet you at the edge of your sun's reach." Mara inclined her head slightly. "We thank you for meeting us. We hope to understand your request." The silver mist tilted in reply. "We are the council of this region. New societies must choose. Alignment with order or withdrawal into seclusion. Your world grows quickly. We invite you to join under our guidance." Amira spoke softly, choosing words with care. "We wish friendship, but our people value free choice." The tree-shaped being responded, its tone like wind through leaves. "Freedom may thrive inside order. Disorder invites harm." Mara sensed the meeting balanced on a thin line. She kept her tone steady. "Earth will act responsibly, but we also hold stewardship of our own path." The council members exchanged looks, their lights shifting like gentle waves. While the dialogue unfolded, Earth's observatories detected new signals near Jupiter. Several small council drones had arrived, forming a loose ring around the Scout. They sent calm pulses, scanning Lantern with soft light. In the base, Leonjo studied the readings. "It seems they are testing us," she said. "Seeing how we react to being watched. Do we tell Lantern?" asked a technician. "Not yet," Leon decided. Mara knows to stay composed. Back in the Chamber of Light, the Council's elder leaned forward. "Earth shows calm under notice. Few young worlds manage this. We will observe longer." "Observation is welcome," Mara replied, "but we ask respect for our space." The elder's lights flickered gently. "Respect is mutual." A silence followed, soft but heavy. Then, without warning, a faint tremor passed through Lantern. Ravi checked instruments quickly. "They sent a pulse, harmless, just mapping our hull." Mara's expression stayed neutral. "Continue as planned." Amira noted the gesture in her tablet. Their pulse was like a greeting and a test together. Hours passed in quiet exchange. The Council asked about Earth's waters, mountains, and songs. They seemed curious about how people work together despite different tongues. Mara described oceans filled with life, cities where ideas crossed like rivers, and quiet forests where one could hear wind speak through trees. In return, the Council shared fragments of their history. Long ago, they said, worlds across nearby stars faced storms of drifting rocks. By uniting, they built shields and routes for trade. Over time, they formed a council to watch for harmony. Some members valued strict rules. Others favored gentle guidance. Together, they sought balance. Their words carried a lesson. Strength need not crush, but it must stay firm. Meanwhile, Lantern sensors picked up faint objects far beyond the scout, distant silhouettes moving among the moons of Jupiter. Ravi enlarged the image. "Looks like a small fleet," he whispered. "Maybe escorts." Mara frowned slightly, though her voice remained calm. "Record their positions. No sudden course changes." The presence of other ships did not feel hostile, but it added weight. Earth's first meeting was not just a conversation. It was also an audition before watching eyes. On Earth, quiet decisions took place. The Terran Accord sent encrypted orders to a handful of hidden satellites. They were not weapons, only eyes and ears designed to gather information without disturbing space. For the first time, humans felt they were standing side by side with powers beyond their sky, neither shrinking nor shouting, but steady. Around the planet, people followed small updates released through public channels. Children built paper models of Lantern. Artists painted scenes of ships under starry skies. Even in busy cities, strangers paused near screens, united by a sense of shared watchfulness. As Lantern and the Council ship drifted together, a new signal arrived from deeper space. Its tone was brisk but not sharp. "Council scout to Central Fleet, dialogue steady. Human craft shows control and curiosity. Recommend extended observation." The crew of Lantern heard the relay echo and exchanged a quick glance. "So they report on us," Ravi said. "That's fine," Mara replied. "We came here to be known." The meeting stretched into another day. Lantern's crew rested in turns while instruments kept quiet watch. During her shift, Amira gazed out a small port, where Jupiter's soft bands shimmered far away. "It feels strange," she said quietly to Mara. "We're tiny, but they listen. That's how most beginnings feel." Mara answered with a slight smile. Soon after, the Council elder spoke again. "Captain Vance, your people stand with calm faces before the unknown. Tell us, if we offered guidance, would Earth accept learning without surrender?" Mara chose her words carefully. "We welcome learning. We respect wisdom, but stewardship of Earth belongs to its people." The elder considered, its lights turning warm green. That may be a path if walked with care. As the dialogue slowed, Lantern received new coordinates from Earth. A secondary craft and a small observation drone had launched quietly to circle Jupiter from the far side. Its task was simple: collect clear pictures of the Council fleet. Mara approved the update. "As long as it stays gentle," she said. "We keep respect." The mission felt less like contest and more like careful dance. Every step needed balance. Honesty without haste. Calm without passivity. When the sun's light faded behind Jupiter's wide curve, Lantern's cabin grew dim. Outside, the Council ship glowed softly, like a lantern of its own. The scene was peaceful, but history pressed close. Mara looked at her team. "We came here to prove something, not with pride, but with steady hearts. Let's finish this first talk well." They nodded, each sensing the weight and hope of the moment. Finally, the elder spoke a closing line. Earth has shown readiness for patient exchange. We will send word to our assembly. Remain near this point. Await next call. The field of mist folded gently, fading into starlight. The council craft drifted back a short distance, holding station. Lantern's crew released a quiet breath. We did it, Ravi whispered. Mara allowed herself a small smile, the same calm smile Earth had sent with its first reply. We're only at the beginning, she said, but we've shown who we are. Back on Earth, cheers rippled softly through the base as the final report arrived. Screens showed Lantern steady beside the alien ship, safe and unharmed. Scientists recorded data. A pale dawn spread over Earth as news of the first calm meeting with the Council reached trusted channels. It was not yet public, but leaders and scientists felt quiet relief. Lantern and her crew were safe near Jupiter, and the Council scout had shown interest rather than anger. Inside the mountain base, Dr. Leon Joe stood beside a window carved into the rock. She looked at the clear morning sky above the valley. We have time now, she said softly. Time to prepare for what comes next. Captain Mara Vance, speaking from Lantern through a clean signal, answered with steady warmth. They're waiting for their assembly to decide. That gives us room to think, but also to stay ready. The Terran Defense Accord agreed. They understood that the Council's calm words were only part of the story. Somewhere behind the scout were fleets and long traditions. Earth would need wisdom and quiet planning to keep its place at the table. In a wide hall under the base, delegates from many regions gathered around a circular table. Screens behind them displayed faint images of Council ships around Jupiter, drawn from Lantern sensors and a silent probe that now orbited the giant planet's far side. Leon Joe began the meeting. We have learned 3 things, she said, pointing to the images. First, the Council listens. Second, they test us with every signal. Third, they hold more ships nearby than they first showed. A diplomat from the Pacific spoke calmly. Their caution may not be threat. Perhaps they protect their observer. Perhaps, Leon said. But caution can shift quickly if they think we are careless. We must act as guests and guardians at once. The group turned to Captain Vance's face on a screen. Her uniform was simple, marked only by a small Earth emblem. She described the Council's questions about rivers, songs, and shared work. They care about how we solve problems together, she explained. They watch for balance between freedom and respect. That balance may decide how far they open their doors. Meanwhile, in the Lantern's cabin, the crew rested in soft light after their long talk with the aliens. Ravi Patel reviewed data about faint energy flows coming from the Council ship. They keep a layer of fields around themselves, he said. It hides details, but not all. Amira, listening to recordings of the Council's voices, tapped a rhythm on her tablet. Their tones change slightly when they mention rules. Some of them may want strict order. Others sound curious, even gentle. Mara studied both reports. Then there may be voices inside their council who think Earth should be a partner, and others who prefer us under control. She smiled faintly. If that is true, our patience gives strength to the ones who respect us. Back on Earth, small working groups grew across continents. Mathematicians tested ways to send messages hidden inside natural radio noise, so Earth could speak privately if needed. Engineers polished designs for Erebus, a network of quiet drones able to create soft shadows in space, not to harm, but to protect satellites from sudden scans. The word Erebus was old, meaning twilight. It suited the plan, to give Earth a gentle layer of privacy while still showing an open face to visitors. Leon Joe explained the project during a briefing. We do not prepare for conflict, she said, but for balance. We will not look careless before powers that watch everything. In the weeks that followed, a rhythm settled between Earth and the Scout near Jupiter. Lantern sent daily notes describing weather over the blue oceans, poems from children and recordings of forest birds. The Council responded with patient messages about stars, currents of dust, and stories of ancient bridges built between distant moons. Yet sometimes their words held a cool edge. Reminders that order must stand and young worlds prosper when guided. Mara answered these lines with steady courtesy. We hear your wish for harmony, she said once, and we will keep peace by learning and choosing with care. Quiet observers beyond the official halls noticed patterns too. Amateur astronomers found that the Council's fleet changed position at regular intervals, as if mapping every corner of the solar system. Ocean navigators reported faint signals brushing across deep-sea cables, like soft knocks from far away. These traces were not harmful, but they reminded everyone that Earth lived now under a new sky, one shared with minds that moved in shadows as easily as in light. A new challenge arrived on a calm evening. Lantern received a set of numbers from the Council, coordinates pointing to a spot just outside Saturn's rings. Amira translated the message aloud. They invite an exchange of knowledge there. They want to see how we prepare a meeting beyond home. Ravi raised an eyebrow. Saturn is far. They want to know if we can travel with confidence. Mara thought for a moment. We'll accept, but we move with care. She sent a reply. We will meet you at the place named. We come with respect and clear purpose. The signal went out, crossing dark space toward the waiting scouts. While Lantern set a course for Saturn, Earth's scientists began a second round of quiet work. They built slim recorders to leave near the meeting point, small cylinders that could drift unnoticed and capture every pulse of sound or light. Lianzhou called the devices whisper stones. They will not intrude, she explained, but they will give us memory of events if our ship loses contact. Engineers also refined the Erebus drones, teaching them to form smooth veils that could calm stray radiation or hide delicate transmissions. Everything was framed as protection for learning, never as a challenge. Public life, though still unaware of many details, felt a subtle change. Musicians wrote songs of new dawns. Schools taught simple courses about respectful speech across cultures. Even cultures among the stars, teachers said with a smile. Farmers in open fields kept radios on at night, hoping to hear small updates about Lantern's progress. There was no grand parade, no shouts of defiance, only a quiet sense of purpose. Humanity seemed to breathe with the rhythm of patient steps into the unknown. 4 days later, Lantern approached the golden rings of Saturn. The planet floated like a giant lantern itself, pale yellow wrapped in shining bands. Mara and her crew watched from wide windows, moved by the calm beauty. Waiting nearby were 3 council ships, larger than the Scout near Jupiter. They glowed with soft silver lines, their movements smooth as if guided by a single thought. A message reached Lantern. We greet Earth at this further gate. Show us how you carry learning into deeper space. Mara replied gently. We come with respect and steady hearts. Lantern slowed until it drifted alongside the ships. A new chamber of light opened between them, richer and brighter than before. The crew felt as if they had stepped inside a sunrise. Inside the luminous chamber, council members gathered once more, joined by others with different shapes, some like threads of blue glass, others round as tiny moons. The elder with green eyes spoke first. You travel far with calm, it said. That speaks of thoughtfulness. Another being, taller and stern, asked, Will Earth accept learning even when it reshapes old habits? Amira answered carefully. Learning is our wish, but we grow by choosing which lessons to hold, Ravi added with a smile. Guidance works best when both sides listen. The beings studied them, colors moving slowly across their forms. Perhaps, said the elder, Earth may stand among us one day if it keeps balance between openness and care. Back on Earth, watchers read data streaming from Lantern. They saw how the council arranged their ships in wide curves like petals around a center. Some experts suggested this was a sign of trust. Others thought it a way to show quiet strength. Lianzhou gathered her team. We must stay steady, she said. Their kindness is real, but their reach is wide. Our calm must be clear and constant. As the Saturn meeting ended, the council gave a gentle request. Remain prepared. When our assembly meets, we may invite your world to speak before us. Bring clarity of purpose. Mara bowed her head slightly. We will be ready. When the field of light faded, Lantern floated once again in the wide black. The council ships moved back, holding a patient watch. Ravi turned to his captain. Do you think they trust us? Mara looked out at the rings, glowing like a promise. They trust what they see. People who meet the unknown with calm strength. Lantern began its return toward Jupiter, carrying recordings of every word and gesture. Earth scientists prepared rooms where the crew would share what they had learned. The Erebus project quietly moved to its next stage, placing a few drones beyond the moon, forming a soft web to keep communications clear during any future talks. Even as new plans grew, humanity kept its quiet smile. They did not rush for power or bend in fear. They walked step by step, steady as stars. Late that night, in a small garden outside the base, Lianzhou paused to watch a thin crescent moon. She thought of all who had looked up through centuries, wondering if anyone else might care about the fragile blue world below. Now answers were coming, answers wrapped in mist and patience. She whispered to herself, "We are still learning how to stand among them, but we are standing." Far away, Lantern's crew looked out of their own window. Beyond Saturn, stars stretched endless and calm. Somewhere, the council prepared for new debates. Earth and its people rested between light and shadow, crafting strategies not of force but of wisdom. And through it all, the same steady thought guided every hand, a promise to face the universe with clear eyes, thoughtful plans, and the quiet, unshaken smile that had begun it all. The lantern ship drifted through the stillness between Saturn and Jupiter, carrying Earth's hopes like a quiet beacon. Inside, Captain Mara Vance sat with her crew, reviewing the long streams of notes collected during their talks with the council. Soft lights painted the cabin in calm gold. Ravi Patel looked up from his station. "We've logged every phrase, every shift in their voices," he said. "Their tone changes when they talk about rules or choice. Some of them seem gentle, others more strict." Amira nodded, but none spoke with anger. Even the stern ones sounded careful, as if they were watching to see how far we could walk without stumbling. Mara studied the wide darkness ahead. "They're weighing us," she said quietly. "Every word, every pause, every calm face, one it all builds their picture of who we are." Beyond the glass, Saturn's pale rings faded as Lantern moved inward toward Jupiter, where the council scouts still waited. On Earth, the Terran Defense Accord gathered in the mountain base to hear Lantern's newest report. Screens showed images of Saturn's bright arcs and the silver forms of council ships. Dr. Lianzhou stood before the group, her voice steady. "Our travelers have shown we can meet visitors with respect and composure," she said. "But the council will soon decide. They will invite us to speak, or they may repeat their first demand." A diplomat from Europe leaned forward. "How shall we answer if they press again?" "We stay calm," Leon replied. "Our strength is quiet clarity. We show that guidance and friendship are welcome, but ownership of Earth is not." Around the table, heads nodded. The lesson of the last weeks was clear. Dignity need not be loud, but it must be firm. 2 days later, as Lantern neared Jupiter, a bright signal pulsed across the solar system. It reached Earth's antennas and Lantern's receivers at the same time. Amira decoded the message aloud. "Assembly complete. Earth may present its voice at the edge of its moon. Bring representatives to speak under open accord." Mara smiled slightly. "They chose a place close to home," she said. "They want to see how we stand on our own ground." On Earth, leaders approved the invitation without delay. Plans moved quickly yet calmly. A gathering would take place above the moon, where Earth's blue surface would shine beyond. In the following days, quiet preparations spread around the planet. A new ship, larger than Lantern, built in secret hangars, rolled from its cradle. Its name was Aurora. Unlike older craft, Aurora carried broad windows and rooms for dialogue. Engineers polished its hull until it reflected the light of morning like a calm lake. Mara and her crew left Lantern briefly to help fit Aurora for its mission. Ravi tested its sensors, Amira checked the translation systems, and Mara walked through the central hall, noting where Earth's flag would rest next to a simple emblem of a rising sun, a sign of open friendship. People across the world learned only a little about the coming meeting, but that was enough to inspire hope. Children painted pictures of the moon with small silver ships above it. Teachers spoke gently about how real courage often wears a quiet face. When Aurora launched, dawn was just touching the Atlantic. From high hills, families watched a streak of light rise toward the stars. Farmers paused among fields, and musicians in city squares played soft tunes to mark the moment. Up in space, Lantern turned to escort Aurora toward the lunar orbit. The two ships glided side by side, one carrying memories, the other carrying Earth's first formal greeting to the galaxy. As Aurora neared the moon, 3 council vessels emerged from its shadow. They moved with graceful slowness, forming a calm ring above the silver plain. Their surfaces glowed faintly, reflecting Earth's light. A voice reached Aurora's cabin. "Representatives of Earth, welcome to Open Accord." Inside the ship, Mara stood with a small team of scientists, diplomats, and historians. She answered with steady warmth. We thank the Council for meeting us near our home. We come with clarity and goodwill. The Council's elder, its eyes soft green, appeared in a gentle field of light. Other members shimmered like threads of mist or smooth stones warmed by dawn. Your travelers have shown balance, the elder said. Now Earth must speak as one. A platform of light stretched from the Council ships to Aurora. Slowly, Mara and her companions walked across. The surface felt solid yet weightless, as if they were standing on sunlight. In the center stood a round table made of clear crystal. Beyond it hung Earth, a blue and white sphere turning quietly. The sight filled everyone with quiet awe. The elder began the dialogue. When we sent our first message, we asked for surrender. That was the language of habit, born from years guiding younger worlds. But your answers have shown us another path. A people who carry steadiness even under watch. A silver being added. Some among us feared your speed of growth. Yet you hold calm when faced with power. That speaks well. Mara met their eyes without haste. We want peace. We also wish to keep the right to walk our own road. Amira placed a small tablet on the table. Here is our statement, she said. It tells how Earth hopes to share learning while keeping its voice. The tablet displayed simple words in many languages. We come as stewards of our home, ready to listen, ready to share, and ready to stand in mutual respect. For a long moment, the council members exchanged colors and soft notes. Then the elder spoke. We accept Earth as a free member among learning worlds. You may keep guardianship of your sky and soil, as long as you hold respect for balance. If you seek help or wisdom, you may call. If you walk alone, walk with care. The decision rippled through the light like a calm tide. Mara felt her breath ease. Humanity had not been told to bow, but welcomed to rise. Back on Earth, cheers rolled quietly through command rooms as the news arrived. There was no wild celebration, only a deep sense of arrival. People stepped outside to look at the moon, knowing that just beyond its rim, voices from two worlds had built a bridge. The Accord sent a short reply. We thank the Council for trust. Earth will honor this accord with thoughtful steps. The meeting above the moon lasted through the soft shadow of lunar night. Delegates discussed safe travel lanes, gentle ways to share knowledge, and how to keep dialogue steady. The Council promised to place a small relay near Earth, a beacon to keep channels open. Before leaving, the elder offered final advice. Strength that walks with kindness lasts the longest. Hold both. As dawn rose over the moon, the council ships turned slowly and slipped toward the dark beyond. Their lights faded like falling stars, leaving Aurora alone above the silver plain. On the way home, Mara stood by a window in Aurora's quiet hall. Earth floated below, its clouds bright in morning sun. Ravi came beside her, smiling. We kept our calm all the way, he said. We did, Mara agreed. And we showed that freedom can speak without shouting. Amira joined them, holding a small crystal the council had given as a sign of friendship. Its surface glowed faintly, reflecting the light of home. They called us Steady Hearts, she said softly. That may be the best name we've earned. When Aurora landed, representatives from many regions welcomed the crew with quiet applause. No speeches shouted. No banners demanded triumph. Instead, there was a sense of shared guardianship, of something begun, not finished. Mara spoke briefly. This is a first step, she said. The galaxy is wide and we are new among its voices. Let us keep the same calm we showed when the stars first called. Across villages, towns, and cities, people listened to recordings of the speech. They planted trees, sang songs, or simply looked up at the night sky. Humanity's story had widened, and each person felt a small part of the bridge that now stretched between Earth and the stars. Weeks later, Lantern was brought back to Earth for study, while Aurora became a symbol of careful courage. The Erebus network of quiet drones settled into safe orbits, protecting the calm sky while remaining hidden from casual view. Children visiting science centers traced the paths of Lantern and Aurora on large maps. They learned how listening and steadiness could shape history. In parks, elders told stories about the cold smile Earth had shown, not a smile of pride, but of certainty that respect and freedom could walk together. One evening, Mara sat alone near a lake outside the base. Stars shone above, mirrored on the still water. She thought of the council ships gliding beyond sight. of the quiet voices that had weighed Earth and found steadiness. She also thought of all the people on her planet. Farmers, students, singers, builders, and who had stood firm without anger, who had trusted patience more than haste. The breeze moved gently across the lake. Mara smiled, the same calm smile she had carried from the first message to the last. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we start learning how to live as neighbors among stars. High above, satellites marked new paths across the heavens. Farther still, the Council's relay sent a faint pulse, a reminder that Earth now had friends and watchers beyond the night. The universe felt large, but also close, a place where clear voices, steady hearts, and quiet smiles could shape the future.